There will be no compensation. I mean, there is 7 years to reorganize football around the world for this World Cup. We are talking about a reduction of the competition in terms of number of competition days. We are talking about 28 days and not anymore 32 days. So to reduce by 4 days the size of the competition in 2022, which has also an impact on the organization, but it's also part of the concession we all are making in order to change and to find the right timing to play this World Cup in 2022. We enjoy football when all is okay. Why we don't once organize ourselves and make sure that we can enjoy football in a different environment, in a different situation, without suddenly screaming and saying that's impossible. It's not impossible, it's very possible.
That's it, FIFA's representative, Jerome Valka. It says European representatives complaining that this is not possible, that is not possible. Stop saying nothing is possible, that this is football, anything can happen. Jumnodi, let's come out of it. Was FIFA too blunt to come out to say no compensation for clubs?
What I was trying to say is that you have 7 years to reorganize your calendar, reorganize yourself. It's not something that came in a split of seconds. You have 2 years. You have 7 years. There's a World Cup in 2018. After the World Cup in 2018, at least they must have cleared some of those things. You have 7 years to reorganize yourself. It's not something that Qatar may not host the World Cup in the next year after the 2022. They may not host. We don't know. But the truth of the matter is, at one point in time, let's allow these people to host. They've been yearning to host the FIFA World Cup. The last time they hosted a big tournament was in 1995, when they hosted the World Championship after it was taken away from Nigeria due to outbreak of cholera in some part of northern Nigeria. So that was the last time they hosted any major, I think major at FIFA level. But going to host the World Cup, I think the biggest showpiece, if the World Cup is to come to Nigeria in 2015, this election would have been peaceful. Because we know that after the election, there's going to be a World Cup. And we know the implication that if there's a crisis during the election, the World Cup may not hold. So we know what it means. So we behave ourselves. So I think it's had a way of unifying the world. It's a unifying factor. Remember, the way the Qatari are saying this, at one point, one of the legislators in Qatar was saying, I hope this is not a racism against the Middle East. I think that's a sentiment, a strong sentiment. So we have to be a bit careful. When they say there's a World Cup coming up just for the sake of football, for the sake of unity, for the sake of global peace and harmony, because that's what football brings. If a blatter can go to Palestine and Israeli to strike a deal and they'll play football together, a country is two people who have been a perpetual at loggerheads.
Drogba can bring the northern Cote d'Ivoire, southern Cote d'Ivoire
together to play football. Even you could see the kind of the kind of relationship football can foster across the world. So take it to, just for the sake of Qatar, reorganize yourself. After the World Cup in Qatar, you can go back to your normal schedule. It doesn't change anything. After all, we're able to adjust because of the European season. Some of the competitions, even in Europe, even in South America, because of the European season. That's why some of them were fixed after the Copa America will hold after the European season. The Copa America. The Asian Cup will come up. It comes up almost at the same time, but it doesn't come up as regularly as the World Cup, the African Cup of Nations. So he's saying, please, nothing is impossible. Yeah, nothing. You don't say nothing is impossible. It's impossible. Let's just try as much as possible for the sake of Qatar. Do the World Cup at this time because of if you want the World Cup to be held during the summer, then let's be ready to face the heat. But they don't want the heat. They want a humane condition where players can enjoy themselves without complaint. So that's it.
Tunde, let me get you talking. Let's forget about Europe. Let's keep Africa aside. This suggestion to move the World Cup, is it in the interest of football?
Well, it depends on who in football you're talking about. If you're asking if it's in the interest of Africa, Asia, and South America, they have no problems with it. But if it's in the interest of UEFA and European clubs, trust me, they're up in arms. And that is why there's plenty of problems. First statistics, 75% of the players who played at the 2014 FIFA World Cup were drawn for European teams. That says a lot. That means the vast majority of the players who will play at the World Cup come from the block that is screaming the loudest and the hardest about the timing of the FIFA World Cup.
That's a problem for FIFA.
Problem for FIFA. Then the United Kingdom have traditional festive period matches Boxing Day, they do not joke with it. Matches are played. It is a tradition.
Massive games.
And they do not want to mess with it. So, and if they are suggesting that the FIFA World Cup will probably end on the 23rd of December, how is that going to work out for clubs in England who play on the 26th of December? There is also the issue of long-term football contracts, broadcast rights that have been signed.
Yeah.
This is purely about money, not sentiment, and that is what the Europeans are saying. Firstly, Qatar campaigned to have a summer World Cup. They never said anything about a winter World Cup. It was only after they won the bid and there was hue and cry about playing 45 degrees Celsius in summer.
From the same Europe.
But from the same Europe. But that is when they decided that, okay, maybe we should think of moving into the winter. And the clubs are now justifiably arguing that, no, your bid was predicated on the fact that it will be a summer World Cup. Moving it to November, December now disrupts our program. So, and there's no sentiment in business. European clubs are set up to make money, profit. That's what the UEFA Champions League is the biggest club football tournament in the world, the richest, most viable, most profitable, not the FIFA World Cup. And if they have to do anything, because this World Cup will disrupt the UEFA Champions League as well.
Of course.
So there's so much going into it that the Europeans are talking about. Yes, a lot of people are saying the sentiment about, we should allow the Middle East to host the World Cup, and the Europeans are not against it. Fine, you can host the World Cup, but not at the detriment of our domestic competitions. So if I saying 7 years to rearrange, I think it's bragado by FIFA. They cannot afford to lose the support of the European blocs, and they have to find, they will reach a compromise. I think some kind of compensation will eventually be paid.
We can only talk about it. We can't give FIFA a solution. So FIFA face your issues and see what can come out of the 2022 World Cup.